Hi everyone, it's Jackie Schomburg-Abstract. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to make a collage, but I have mystery supplies. So this is from one of my artist friends, Diane, and she sent me assorted magazine pages. So I don't know what's in here yet, but I'm going to take them out and let's make some collage. One last reminder that my Brave Art and Creative Wellness workshops are open right now for registration. Registration will end tomorrow, Monday, December 2nd at 11:59 p.m. Central Time or GMT -6. If you'd like to participate, I have one last offer for you. This is a Cyber Monday offer. It's Cyber 15, but the E is a 3. I will put this code at the bottom of the screen as well. I will also link to the workshop in the link above. I hope you'll come check it out. You can also get the information in the description below. It's going to be a blast. We have some great groups forming. We have a few spots left. So if you want to start the new year off with some dedicated self-care for yourself, I highly encourage it, and I hope to see you soon. So here is the envelope that Diane sent me. This was a really interesting thing for me to do because I allowed myself just to use all the materials provided to me, which honestly felt a little scary. I don't know that scary is the right word. Not like I wasn't afraid of it, but I felt very constrained. How's that? Typically, I use magazines and pictures that I personally have curated. So I will pull all the pages that speak to me and go from there. This was completely at the whim of someone else who just randomly picked pages. And it was really strange because a lot of the images I never would have singled out. But that's why it was an experiment. Loved this pattern, obviously, right? Huge contrast, lots of black and white, strong lines, bold statement. And when I first went through and just pulled the pictures that I was interested in, I ended up with not a ton of pictures. So you see, I'm being pretty selective, which might have been my first mistake. Though the things I picked, I really enjoyed. And this is also a lesson in don't be afraid to cover up what you've already done. This cracked me up. I love this tile. It looked like this dog was wearing like aviator goggles. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. Is it silly? Absolutely. Is it amazing art? Very debatable. However, that was what my first instinct was, so I decided to go for it. Again, we make up rules for ourselves when there really are no rules. So please don't think you have to be serious in your art. Don't think you have to have a theme. Don't think you have to, make it look sophisticated and, uppity. Is uppity still a word that people use? I don't know. But there are no rules. We often decide that art has to be fancy, art has to be unapproachable. Not true. It's just something we've invented. And often when we see artists and we see art that we really like, it feels like we couldn't get there ourselves. But artists are just humans. They're not anything other than human. And they got where they are. Any artists that you admire, they got where they are by just doing things until they got good at them. This weekend we went bowling, and my oldest son, who lots of things come easy to him, bowling is not one of those things. So he really struggled thinking that, he's like, well, I'm just not good at bowling. I'm just not good at it. It's like, well, also you're 8. And also, how do you get good at something? You have to do it badly for a while. You have to just keep doing it. If you want to be good at something, just do it more. And our egos get in the way because we want to be good at something instantly. So it really comes down to, right, if you have fun doing it and you do it poorly to your standards, if you want to get better and you're having fun with it, by all means, keep doing it. If you get frustrated because you're not making art the way that you'd like to make it, then do it more, not less. Push your ego aside for a moment. Be willing to do something that you're not good at or that doesn't turn out the way you want it to, and keep doing it. If everyone gave up because things were hard or didn't happen for them innately the first time they tried it, there would be no Mozart, there would be no Monet, there'd also be no Apple computer, no Microsoft, no insert fancy company here. Everyone needs to learn somewhere how to do something. And even people who have amazing talent, if you don't push yourself and keep trying and keep doing, talent doesn't get you anywhere if you're sitting on your couch watching Netflix, right? And I am not Netflix shaming because that is my favorite distraction of choice. But even and I'm telling myself this probably more than you, I need to get off the couch sometimes and I need to get off my phone and create, because sitting on my phone doesn't do anything for me or for anyone else. But when I can create and I can make something that either shows you how to do something differently or teaches me how to do something differently in my own work, that's when I feel proud and that's when I feel excited, and that is what makes me happy. So why do we not do more of the things that make us happy? I don't know. And I'm just as guilty of not doing those things as anyone. So 2025, let's do more of what makes us happy, even if we suck at it. Because if we suck at it and we keep doing it, guess what? We're guaranteed to not suck at it as much as we go. All right, off my soapbox. I don't know if you guys can see me struggle as much as I felt like I was struggling here. It felt ridiculous. I felt so trapped, and I kept looking around my desk thinking, what are the other options? What are the other options? And I very intentionally avoided pulling from my own magazines. I wanted to keep with these as much as possible. I did put those red orb shapes in with the tissue paper collage paper that I had made. So definitely added something in there, and I'll add a little bit more later. But largely, I kept with all of the images Diane sent me. It was fun to play around with someone else's choices for me. I would say it kept me uncomfortable longer, which I think is always good, right? Open that window of tolerance a bit. And I realized on the right side that everything didn't have to be a pattern or some bold image. So I allowed myself more quiet spaces on this side. Now I say that knowing that at the end it's not very quiet. However, there is some white left on this side. When I do my collages, sometimes I like to leave images that you can easily tell what the image was. Sometimes I like to take them really obscure, like that right there, some of the Labrador retrievers or golden retrievers fur and part of the collar. It's not automatically associated with the dog. Maybe since you see the dog's face on the other side, you're more likely to link it up. I don't know why I put that there. All of a sudden, the dog's face had so much of the focal point, and it just screamed dog that even though I loved having that dog there with his little aviator goggles, it was time to cover it up a little. Again, I love it when things line up like that. It's never a necessity, but it feels really good to me personally, so I like to do that. So I've done a lot of squares. I've done a little bit of tearing of paper, but mostly I've been cutting things out with right angles. All of this is personal preference. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Occasionally, like this, I will cut out the image exactly and not leave any background paper behind because I want just that image to overlap the other things in my collage. It takes a lot longer, but if there's something you're very interested in my opinion, it's worth the time. I used to do that for everything. I used to cut out everything like that. I would use some background papers and then cut out every single image with an X-Acto knife. I don't know if it's just the efficiency of not doing that or if it covers more ground faster. And now that I have kids, I don't have as much dedicated time that I can just use however I want to. So cutting squares is a faster way to do it, but not necessarily better or worse. This page of the swirls in the background is actually wax, not wax paper, deli paper. So it is kind of clear, but there's definitely like a haze behind it more so than tissue paper. I wanted to give her a bold background, and then I liked it so much without her on, I changed my mind a bit. But I still liked her and wanted to put her somewhere. I think when you make collage, it's like anything else, a negotiation. I could put her here, I could put her over here. Which one do I like better? Which one do I like better without her? You have to consider this, and the beauty of collage is you can try on different pieces. I don't glue her down until I glue her down. Until she's glued down, she can go anywhere. Just like any other piece. Thought about giving her an avocado body, a cone head. Remember that old Saturday Night Live cone head skit? Love it. Very selective audience will understand that. And I settled on this little hat, halo situation. I liked how having her head against the avocado showed her head more, so it was sticking out against the background. It wasn't just blending in. Adding some of the swirl deli paper, mostly to tie it in with the page on the right. But also there was just a whole lot of pattern going on and I wanted to simplify things a bit. I was finally enjoying what was on the paper now. I try to keep going until I like what I see. It doesn't always happen, as you know if you've seen my videos in the past. Now this tiny little scrap of paper, yellow paper, says how to find yourself. And I just realized now that perhaps what I was suggesting is you have to go on that loopy trail of all those black lines. It looks a little bit like the beginning of a maze. Hadn't thought about it until right now though. This is more of my collage paper, the tissue. Part of the reason I did this, I think, is to give it some contrast against the magazine images. Part of the reason was to quiet some of the areas down, so I can still see the history behind it because it is transparent, and it provides a layer that covers up some of the busyness. This bottom strip on the left had me, I don't know, stalled for a while. Wasn't sure what to do with it. Finally, I decided I just needed something there. Just some not super patterny, distracting piece. And a little pop of color on the right. And I decided I wanted to add more of this just to tie it into the other one, and also the one on the left seems particularly busy to me, and I wanted that to get a little better. Now after, you can see the last collage piece is darker here. I did go over it with some crayons just to make it blacker so it showed better. So quick reminder about my workshops closing tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. I would love you to join us in January It should be a lot of fun with a lot of collage and a lot of great people. Which collage did you like better, the one on the left or the one on the right? Let me know in the comments.